Hello and welcome back to Recorder 101 Lesson 28. This past week I've been still working on our Basse Danse Bergeret. Hopefully you are working on this too. I still find a few places where I'm having difficulties. I haven't quite got the end where I want it, where it's just all natural. Yes, I've got the last couple of notes. By that I do mean 3 notes. And that's a good feeling. So I want to continue to build on that. So very quickly, do a few stretching exercises. This is always good because you're going to be having your hands in a bit of an unusual position. Yes, I've brushed my teeth. Always a good idea before playing because you don't want little tiny food particles going into the airway of your recorder. I've been noticing that my recorders all of them are building up condensation really quickly these days. Way back at the beginning of the course, it must be 29, almost 30 weeks ago, I particularly washed all my recorders, especially the top part. Well, let me take that back. The top part, yes. All of them? No, I did not wash the my wooden soprano. So if you have a wooden recorder, don't wash it. But if you have a plastic one, especially at this time of pandemic, it's quite okay to go ahead and wash it with warm soapy water. Not hot, warm soapy water. Rinse, but the soapy water is going to sort of coat the inside to allow the condensation that builds up to sort of run off much more quickly, especially in the beak of your recorder. So you especially want it to not be in the beak and to not be bothering the little area here. That's where it's going to cause you the most difficulty. So it's time today for me to wash my recorders again. All of mine, especially my tenor and bass, are beginning to give me very strange notes, and it feels like if I breathe in carefully, like we've been talking of breathing in, not a big gasp around the recorders, so more like that I feel like I can taste yesterday's breath, even though, yes, every time before I play, I'm brushing my teeth. That's no. In days of yore, before we were in this pandemic, it was fairly common to share recorders, and we don't want to do that now. Of course, we really shouldn't be meeting for, social distancing and all of that. Outside, good distance apart, maybe, but you can't all look at the same piece of music. You each have to have your own. But this is to remind you of that. Right at the moment, I'm not playing. Big topic for today is counting. Now, we know that when we have quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, but Basse Danse Bergeret isn't in 4/4 time, so it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But we've got quarter notes, half notes, and eighth notes. So our counting is going to be like 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. And that's going to confuse us a bit. Also important to do the counting because we have rests. We have dotted dotted quarter notes. So a dotted quarter note is going to be 1 and 2. So it's going to be there. And the next and is going to be whatever is next. So take your time with that. It's one thing to say 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and build up your speed. 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 1 and 2 and 3. Build up your speed. That's easy. But you're also developing pathways in your brain. So you may want to change up your clapping. And yes, clapping is a very good way, if you're reading the music itself, to really take it as clap and 2 and clap and 2, so that you've really got yourself going there with the notes themselves, not playing anything here. We're just playing that. And give yourself the rest time. Last time we talked about how where you're going to take a breath and how you're going to plan that and using your rest to take a breath and get your fingers into position. So that's just the beginnings of counting that are important. You know, because the score that I've given you has lots of bars with a whole rest in it. Technically, whatever speed you're playing at, if you come to a bar or bars with a rest or rests, count those in. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and however many you have to go before you're ready to play again. This seems stupid right now, but as you advance, and I hope for you that you do advance, the more complicated music, the more advanced music will probably have rests, either for another instrument to play or whole other instruments to play, and you'll need to have your counting down. So start soon. That's why I'm mentioning it now. That's one of the reasons I'm not giving you a more complete score yet, is to really give you that opportunity of counting through and how do I keep up with all of these things? I've tried doing it myself with 1 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and was it 2 and 3 and 4 and where am I right now? And doesn't work well. Again, this is a real challenge for the visually impaired. You're going to have to develop a system so that you really can keep up with how many rests it is. If you've got other musicians that you're playing with, singers who you're playing with, they can perhaps cue you as to where you come back with your next bit. Here in this piece and some of the others, we only have I'm trying to think, like an eighth, a quarter note rest, a quarter rest. And that's an easy thing to get past. Okay, just sort of take a breath and get ready and play again. But the counting part is important. Okay, that's 10 minutes of our normal 15. I thought I would say some things about it's not that one, it's this one. I'm getting all mixed up here, so that's good. That's good. Remember what I was saying last week, that if you get mixed up while playing, you want to have your end solid, so that if you really go into a panic, wait, where am I? I don't even know where I am. You can go to your end and say, that's it, I'm done. So for this, that's what I would want. And I'm not there yet. So make a note of where you get mixed up, when you get mixed up, when you're playing through. I use pencil, as I said last week, to circle that. So that was alto. We're beginning to play longer. I've got to make the adjustment now for my soprano. Same notes, but the fingering is different for these notes because of the way that these instruments play. So that whole section is exactly the same as the end. That 16 bars is exactly the same as the end. We will get another of the, no, that one comes there. We've got everything that you have already visually in version 2 is is part of the whole piece. So you've got there aren't going to be any surprises. It's just the arrangement. So just get the counting down. Oh, no, even if you don't get the counting completely right, it's keep working on it and know that it really is an important feature, and that if you can follow your score so that when there are rests and you're actually looking at the music and you're going, okay, this bar of music is going, that bar of music is going, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2. So that you're moving along on the paper. That helps. If you can use that, but if you can't, if you can't, for whatever reasons, do that. How many bars of music are there? Have you got enough fingers on your recorder that you can count that way? You'll figure it out somehow, but put that in your mind that counting is going to be some point in your future important to do, not just getting the rhythm right. I struggle with rhythm, and I would do 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and change that, because that also builds a different pathway in the brain to help me in the future. I've terrible rhythm, and I know it. Okay, I hope that this is helpful. Next week, we're going to talk about a few other important details, and we'll keep going. So take care, and see you next week.